Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Badfish and welcome back to another episode of San Pedro. If you're new to my channel, San Pedro is my current ongoing Cities Skylines series focused on the American West Coast. So today, guys, we're going to be having some fun and doing some cool builds. We are going to be building out a big old industrial space right here on the right side of the map by this river. So I wanted to do that just because we are starting to finally get a little bit of industrial demand. And also, it's just been a while since I've done a straight up industrial build. I've been doing a lot of residential, or like any of the more industrial stuff I've done has been kind of like more focused stuff, like the power plant or the truck stop, you know, so it hasn't really been like a general industry build in a while. So I wanted to try that out and try to build some cool stuff right on along this little river's edge here. And I think it ends up looking pretty good. So we're just getting the roads kind of laid out. It's not going to be the most efficient layout of all time, but it gets the job done more or less. And we're going to just start fencing it in. So I wanted it to be rather secure as far as an industrial park goes. There are going to be like some chemical companies and stuff that are spread throughout here. So I wanted to have it kind of be a little more secure. That people aren't just coming in and out. You gotta have like a pass to come in, and you gotta be an actual employee to come into this industrial park. So it's all businesses back here, no really public land or anything like that. So these are just some vanilla buildings I'm cropping through. I did a lot of clipping with different buildings just to make them kind of flush together like that I just did there, or to make just more interesting and unique buildings. I think I've said this before, but with clipping it's just nice because like I know you can definitely use procedural objects and kind of smush stuff together. I just like playing within the game. I think sometimes procedural objects makes me feel like I'm playing in like, I don't know, Unity or something. I'd rather feel like I'm playing a game sometimes. So I think clipping together buildings and kind of making them your own, making them a little more special. Like obviously these are all great assets built by people, but I want to make my own little spin on them. So I think clipping them together always helps out there. So just making a bigger factory right here by clipping like 5 or 6 buildings together and pushing them all together. One of them was a residential building, so rip to those people because they are not gonna enjoy living in this giant industrial park. But they'll figure it out. So now I'm just putting a little oil power plant, just a very small, not very involved to it. I do some extra detailing on it in a little bit. I just wanted that because we are going to have some oil industry eventually, and we are putting some freight train cargo connections in, so I'm going to wrap around the rails to connect that off camera, but we do get it up and connected and kind of follows the quays along the river, which I really like. It's nice to see the trains come in. And we're going to be putting down a couple more warehouses and stuff like that. So what's nice about this build is like everything is rather similar at the beginning, just because it's all industrial buildings. Like there's not a ton of variation between industrial buildings, but it's the detailing that lets me make them unique in different spots. Like it's kind of fun to go in and detail with the idea of like what this business is going to be. So I think right now everything's looking pretty samey, but we do switch it up. And now I'm just using the, I believe it's the Modular Recycling Center from Avanya. I love this. I used it before in an episode to create a recycling center like 10 or 15 episodes ago. Just popping it in the middle of this place. It's going to go along with what I'm building right now, and this is going to be our little junkyard. So we got our waste processing and our junkyard in this little area as well. But I really wanted to do a scrapyard build. One of the first videos that made me really want to try out detailing in Cities Skylines was actually when I believe it was Fresh Popcorn made a scrapyard in Arrowhead Junction, and I don't know why, I just thought it was really cool. So I finally wanted to try my hand at making my own little scrapyard. So we're just getting some cars on top of each other, piling them through. Got all these cool little wrecked cars and scrapyard pack off the workshop. I believe Beard Monkey. It's made by Beard Monkey. So great asset group there if you really want to make some scrapyards and stuff. He has a bunch of different like scrap cars and different things like that for you to go ahead and place through. So now what I'm doing is just adding different piles of junk to this kind of corner of the junkyard. So putting in a bunch of like different kind of broke down like metal and concrete and different things like that. And now just breaking up the kind of yard itself with some different bits of surface painter. So what I try to do is keep the green areas of surface painter under the cars, so it looks like where these cars have been like shading and sitting and shading the ground, they've been able to kind of take root. You know, grass and shrubs and all that good stuff, brush just in general has been able to take root. And now I'm just putting in kind of some more details for the junkyard itself. So there's a little sign, and then we're going to be going ahead and putting in the car crushers, so you can go ahead and crush the cars and stuff like that. And I got some of these like active wrecked cars as well. And then just a couple trailers, because what would a junkyard be without some random trailers just shining on through? So just plopping a few of them down, and we're going to again put overgrowth over there just to make it look a little more, I guess, junky. If that, well, that's not a word. I know that's not a word, but that is the word I'm going with, more junky. So just painting through with that surface painter again, getting some more green space, letting it kind of hang loose a little bit. And now we're going to start using different areas of grass just to kind of delineate where that growth has been around the cars. So I just kind of did big patches of grass. Now I'm just going to start copy and pasting them through. And then on the outskirts and in like the more dense patches, I'm going to add some shrubs. So I think having those different levels of growth, because eventually we have trees in the back too, so having those different levels of growth just really helps it kind of come through that it's, you know, natural growth that's kind of just hanging out and clinging to the corners of this little junkyard. It's messy, it's ugly, but to me it's beautiful. I think it looks cool. So just doing some little extra landscaping around the edges. Eventually I'm going to put trees and stuff back there. And I wanted to add some lighting to this area, but I didn't want it to be like light poles or anything, or just floodlights, so I added in these cool little construction lights I picked up a while back. And we're going to put in just some like superfluous piles of tires and oil barrels and things like that, just to give it a little more shape and life to the actual junkyard itself. I mean, if you go to junkyards, there's tons of crap lying everywhere, let's be real. So just putting in those different big piles, and then just smaller piles kind of strewn about next to things, next to cars and next to the trailers and all that good stuff. And then just a couple more little piles of stuff. I just really wanted it to be filled out, so I was like, ooh, more stuff, let's add that stuff, let's do this stuff. Whether or not that's realistic, I mean, again, it's a junkyard, there's crap everywhere, so what isn't realistic? If it was clean, it'd be unrealistic. And just finishing off by putting in our big old trucks and stuff here, and kind of fencing out the entrance area. Well, not fencing out, those are only plastic barriers too, so if you're wondering how the cars get in and out, they just move the barriers and they're not concrete. And yeah, like I said, just putting in our big trucks and stuff to be able to have you know, people have the ability to pick things up, really. And what we're gonna do just to kind of flesh out the end part of this little junkyard area is just putting workers down. So I got people who are, you know, just going and checking out the trucks, looking at the piles, or, you know, they're talking to their buddies or whatever. So I got these little workers that I'm just kind of throwing around and making it look like people are working out in this junkyard. And then this kind of dirt pile, or not dot pile, but it's a decal, it's just called more dirt. I put that down too, just to show where the trucks are really going. So like the high use of trucks is going to be right in those front areas. And then to finish out this little bit of junkyard, I wanted it to be a like car dealership junkyard. So there's a lot of these, definitely in the Southwest and stuff, that you'll see where it'll be like these big junkyards and then like reclaimed cars out front. So these are cars that they fixed, or, you know, maybe cars that weren't exactly junk when they got to them, so they're trying to sell them off now. So I know the cars I'm putting down are probably a little bit too nice to be considered junkyard cars, but I worked with what I had, with the props I had, so I threw those down. And now I'm just kind of fleshing out this little mechanic area, adding in some more of those tools and stuff that I have, just so it looks like people are working on those wrecked cars and stuff. And then, of course, putting down our decals, just roughing up that concrete a lot more so it doesn't look so plain and so, you know, just blobby. So we're going to put down those, and then like some stains and some oil spots and stuff, especially where this is a really built up industrial area. I wanted to have a lot of stains and oil and things like that. So that's going to be kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the whole build. It's just tons of different decals to kind of rough up the space. So now what we're doing here is we are building a distribution center for our fake shipping company. So I believe these were all made by Avanya, which, thank you, Avanya, you make great stuff. And I really liked having, the idea of having like a shipping and distribution center. So we have the big post office distribution center right next to it, but then this is like our private firm. So they're called CIM, and we're just going to assume they're a shipping company, and they have their little distribution network put right next to the post office, for better or worse. So private versus public, who's gonna win? And now just kind of putting in the lines for all the parking here, just to kind of delineate where people need to go, and putting in some like other lines to show where people can walk in and out of without getting rammed through by a truck, because that's pretty important when you are choosing where to walk. You don't want to get hit by a truck. And now you saw me put down those recycling centers earlier. I'm just making a big old kind of metals / different resource pile. Basically, this is where they keep more of the valuable recycling, and then the other recycling or other junk they just send off to the junkyard. But they're keeping like the concrete construction pipes. I'm gonna put like some housing wrap and more tires and concrete and stuff. But I don't know. In my head, I guess this was kind of like your more valuable recycling stuff that they could probably sell off again or sell for parts. So like you got your big AC units and stuff like that kind of popping through, and these are like abandoned appliances and stuff like that. So just again putting down piles and piles and piles of stuff. Not really much to talk about there, but I wanted it to be like, this was all reclaimed stuff, not just a big trash pile, because we already have our waste management center, which is off in the other part of the map, which has just giant piles of gross trash. So I didn't think this one needed to be as aggressive as that. So I kept it more as like a recycling reclamation center than a actual garbage trash landfill. I didn't want to do a landfill. So just filling in these last little guys here. The stuff I'm going to use to fill out this one, well, first of all, it's concrete, and then this stuff looks like metal to me. When I first got it, I thought it was piles of metal. Turns out it's just gross, burnt out like beds and stuff, but we're gonna pretend it's metal, so have fun with that. And putting in the wraps and stuff, and finally just finishing out this little area with our big old loaders, some garbage trucks kind of spread throughout. I do put some like different dumpsters that it looks like they could be servicing in this area. And then just a little bit of a area for whoever the workers are to just kind of hang out, and maybe the foreman has a little office over here, so I put down like a little portable office, some porta potties, and just a couple tables for them to have a place to congregate and talk crap about their boss, because let's be real, that's what we do with our off time at work. So just putting those in, so that will kind of finish out this little space over here. And then moving on to this little guy. So like I said, a lot of these buildings were looking really samey. Like they looked very similar because they're just industrial buildings, they're kind of gross, drab. So the way I wanted to make them unique, again, was by detailing. So this area, I'm making it into a giant U-Haul, I guess, store. If you don't know what U-Haul is, if you're not American, U-Haul is just a company where you can rent out box trucks when you're moving. I don't know if they're in Europe as well, so if they are, that's embarrassing for me. Sorry that I explained what U-Haul is to you. But just put down a bunch of trailers and trucks and stuff so people can go hang out there when they move. And then now just put in a little loading dock for this chemical company that I built up earlier. I just thought it was a nice little addition. Doesn't take a lot of time and does add a good amount of detail. And then I cut out a bunch of them, but I did put in some of these natural growth areas, just kind of where I had big spots of concrete that I wanted to break up. Again, I think they just add a little bit to the space, a little bit more interest when you're looking at it. It doesn't seem so kind of blocked together. And to finish today's build out, as always, we are going back through and just hammering down the decals and trying to make a little bit more like superfluous details. So like I've said before, like when I'm building, what I like to do is have a plan going in, but then the last like hour and a half of my build, I just kind of float through the area and add stuff. So that's kind of what you're seeing now. I call them my superfluous details. So just putting down some ads, some extra trucks, some more decals, and just trying to make the area look as real as I can. Over here, I decided to put more cargo down. I didn't think the cargo yard looked as big as I wanted it to, and I thought I could add a little more detail just by adding my own stacks of stuff and then some couple cranes. So nothing crazy. We're not trying to make the world's biggest or most intense cargo yard, but just thought it would add a little bit to where that train comes in. And I'm so happy I decided to put the train line in, just because it looks so nice when it's just kind of skirting around the river and coming through here. But like I said, we are going to finish out just by putting down lights and stuff. So I am going to let the music play out as I go through and light my beautiful industry park. But I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, definitely leave a like down below. We're going to jump into a live play section for you so you can kind of see things a little bit more slowly. And I will see you on that end. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. Welcome to the live play side of the episode. So I'm just going to jump right into it. We're actually not going to start on this end. I just liked it. It looked pretty, so I wanted to start out with that side as the image. But we'll start over here with the entrance. So coming over here, we got our little industrial park sign plus a little gated entrance with a security right there. Some parking going on, just some nice typical little warehouses. So I got a bunch of different warehouses. I'm usually using the modular pack I use a lot. I got like this Abner Hood Chemical Co. I got a couple of like distribution centers that Avanya made and all that good stuff. So we got a lot of cool stuff going on. So just some details on this. We put in some loading docks and just some parking. These are just vanilla buildings. I really didn't do much with them. This one is just, again, a modular build using the modular factory pack and like a rusty warehouse and just kind of throwing in some parking and some trucks and stuff. Over here we have a little combination steam oil plant, so I just wanted to have another little power plant over here. I'm eventually going to build out some oil industry, so that's why I did the oil plant. We've got the big tanks coming in with the pipes going through them and the tankers going through, so I thought that was just a fun little addition there. So that's the little power plant. Over here, just some more factories. This one is a Frankenstein's monster of clipping, so it's like 4 different things together. I just wanted some bigger, more unique looking factories. This is actually a residential building, and those people hate my guts, let me tell you. They are sick as dogs and dying off. But their building looks nice, so, you know, take one for the team. Through here we have another little, let me get the light on it. So this is another little recycling plant. I actually did make a recycling build, like 10 or 11 episodes ago, something like that used these same buildings, but this one's a little bit different. This one's stretched out, the other one was very compact and square. But yeah, just a little bit of a recycling center with like the recycling, you know, servicing the garbage, or the dumpsters, excuse me. There we go, they're servicing the dumpsters. And then through here, this is just like a little recycling patch where they kind of break down the more valuable stuff that's for recycling and putting it into little piles and so on and so forth. Coming through here, I like this build. So this is a U-Haul lot, I guess. Ooh, no. Let's fix that real quick, because that does not look nice. So all of these are clipping through, which I didn't notice. So I'm just gonna go ahead. Let's not move you. Beautiful, there we go. Now we have a fence again. All right, so yeah, this is just a little U-Haul area for people to come in and rent out trucks and stuff. You'll see those a lot in America, just spread throughout industrial areas or commercial areas. We love us some U-Hauls. And then over here, just another little modular factory with some parking and just some staging areas and stuff. And then this is the distribution center I was talking about. So again, these are from Avanya. I thought it just looked nice. So I have the post office distribution center, and then I wanted like a private distribution center. So this is like a private shipping company. They're going through, they got their trucks over here, they got all their loading docks and stuff, and they're shipping out stuff through this area. And the final little bit, well actually, let's come over here. This is our little cargo terminal with the trains coming through. Looks really nice. And you know, I added some more different cargo and just some cranes and stuff. And going down through here, I did put in like some natural growth areas and stuff just to kind of break up the monotony a little bit. They are dying because I still have pollution turned on, but you know, it works. And then last but not least, my favorite part of this build is going to be our junkyard here today. So I think it just has a lot of cool details. I think it ended up looking really nice. So we got this little garage that, you know, they may fix up cars and stuff, and then they can sell them, or they do it just as like you bring your car there and they work on it for you. But I like the idea of this being like a little dealership. I'm really bummed because I got a wacky inflatable tube man to put in front of this, but he was a tree. And for some reason, when I tried to put him on the concrete over here, it spazzed out and only the shadow showed up, like the actual, like, here, let me show you. Let's see if we can do it. If I can do it right now, I'd be so happy. So, yep, wacky inflatable tube man. So see, when I put him down here, it's like nothing happens. But then if I come like over here, there he is. There's my little tube man. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm very upset about it, as you can tell. But you know, we move on. So anyway, this is just a little parking area, cars for sale, main hub, little office deal. Coming through here, you got your gate, big fences. This is where your car crushers are. So this is where they crush out the cars and turn them into the little, you know, cubes. I couldn't find any like crushed car assets, so we just had to use a bunch of like junker cars and this junked up dude right here. But I think ooh, that guy's floating real hard. Let's move him too. But I think it looks really nice. I think, you know, just having the cars strewn through with this extra little bit of just trash and guck over here with them sifting through it. So it's kind of working in tandem in my head. It's working in tandem with this recycling plant here. So the recycling plant keeps like the very high valuable stuff like appliances, AC units, pipes and stuff like that. Whereas like cars and other junk get sent down to the junkyard over here and they try to restore them and things like that. But I really thought this looked good. I like adding kind of like these patches of growth. So like the growth is going under the cars and things like that. But I think it looked really nice. And yeah, that's the build, guys. So let me know what you thought of it down below. I think it was a good, fun one. I think it looks nice in reference to our city, especially if you look this way. Like, then you just got the whole city in the background. You got all this stuff working for you. Oh, and I didn't show you it at night. So at night, I did light it up quite a bit and put some lights in and stuff. But anyway, like I said, that is the build, guys. So let me know what you thought of it down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. That really helps me out and I really appreciate that support. And definitely, if you've been enjoying my videos, check out my channel and subscribe. I typically post like 3 to 4 videos a week. They're all super detailed builds like this one here. And yeah, guys, so I'm gonna leave you with some cinematics to kind of take you out, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one.